One of the greatest mistakes that people make when thinking about creating a feedback-friendly environment is the assumption that all feedback lives in the realm of critique or criticism. Some of the greatest kinds of feedback lives in the realm of appreciation. Appreciation is a form of feedback. And oftentimes, the organizations that I work with or the leaders that I support have used a kind of carrot and stick approach to progress. There's a kind of punitive, and even if it's subtle, nature to the feedback that they provide. It usually and most often comes from fear. When we are giving feedback from fear, it isn't effective. Consider that the proportion of feedback that you want to deliver needs to be heavy on the appreciation side. When you create an environment of appreciation, people rise into greater ideas of who they know themselves to be. What I'm not saying is pacify adults or the human beings on your team. What I'm not suggesting is use platitudes to kind of check a box. What I'm asking you to consider as an influential leader that has considerable impact in the groups of human beings that you lead is to consider that appreciation is essential. That really tuning in and focusing on the gifts and the talents of the human beings that you have the privilege of working with is some of the greatest investment you could make. Feedback is not synonymous with criticism or critique. Feedback can look like appreciation, really acknowledging and affirming the great gifts and talents that the people you have the honor and privilege of working with possess. You know, we live in a kind of desert. Our culture and society is starving for affirmative words, for appreciation for what you do, what your team does. You might even consider appreciating yourself, giving yourself feedback for the incredible gifts and talents that you possess and contribute. If you can't appreciate yourself, it is likely that you have a tough time appreciating your team. It may be that you were trained, conditioned, raised to believe that you have to put a lot of pressure through feedback to get the results that you most deeply desire. That is an old paradigm of leadership. You really can lead with appreciation as a form of feedback and be amazed by what people rise into. Again, I'm not suggesting that you enable patterns or behaviors, work that isn't productive or in alignment with your goals. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about getting connected with the gifts and talents of the people on your team and appreciating them for what they contribute. In so doing, you may also find that they're not in the right role. They're not responsible for the appropriate things. It often is that people are not thriving in their work because something is not quite dialed in. I'm a big believer in tuning into the individual, paying close attention to what brings them alive, where they're thriving, and then continuing to refine their role so that you can optimize their aliveness, their energy, their freedom, their creativity. If you create a culture of appreciation as a form of regular feedback, your retention rates go up, your loyalty increases, and then you continue to dial in people doing what they're really, really lit up by, everything begins to work in a completely different way. Appreciation is an essential form of feedback. Don't forget it, first and foremost, for yourself, and don't forget it for your team. People are starving for appreciation, and you can make an impact on the lives of the people that you influence through using it regularly.